Dracula, Act 1. Scene, the library on the ground floor of Dr. Seward's sanatorium at Purley. Room is medieval. The walls are stone with vaulted ceilings supported by tombstone pillars, but is comfortably furnished in modern style. Wooden paneling around walls, tapestries hang on the wall, medieval fireplace in wall right. Fire burning. There is a couch right center, a large armchair, right flat top desk with armchair, back of it left, a small chair right of the desk, double doors in the rear wall, center and left front. Large double window across the angle of the room, left rear, leading out into the garden. The curtains at the window are drawn, electric lights on, invisible sliding panel and bookcase rear wall right. Maid, an attractive young girl, enters at center to left of door, showing in John Harker. Harker is a young man of about 26, 25, handsome in appearance, a typical Englishman, public school class, but in a manner direct, explosive, incisive, and excitable.
You're sure Miss Lucy is no worse?
Just the same, sir.
Seward enters. He is an alienist of about 55, intelligent, but typical specialist who lives in a world of textbooks and patience, not a man of action or force of character.
Oh, John.
Dr. Seward, what is it? Why have you sent for me?
My dear John, I told you in my wire there was nothing new.
You said no change, don't worry, but to come at once.
And you lost no time.
I jumped in the car and burned up the road from London. Oh, doctor, surely there must be something more we can do for Lucy. I'd give my life gladly if it would save her.
I'm sure you would, my boy. You love her with the warm blood of youth, but don't forget I love my daughter too. She's all I have. You must see that nothing medical science can suggest has been left undone.
Medical science couldn't do much for Mina. Poor Mina.
Yes, poor Mina. She died after these same incredible symptoms that my Lucy has developed.
My Lucy, too.
Our Lucy.
Wild maniacal laugh is heard off stage.
But God, what was that?
Only Renfield, patient of mine.
But you never keep violent patients here in your sanatorium. Lucy mustn't be compelled to listen to the ravings of madmen.
I quite agree. I'm going to have him sent away. Till just lately, he was always quiet. I'll be sorry to lose him.
What?
An unusual case. Zoophilus.
What's that?
A live-eating maniac.
What?
Yes, he thinks that by absorbing lives, he can prolong his own life.
Good Lord.
Catches flies and eats them, and by the way of change, he feeds flies to spiders, fattens them up. Then he eats the spiders.
God, how disgusting. But tell me about Lucy. Why did you send for me?
Yesterday, I wired to Holland for my old friend Van Helsing. He'll be here soon. Car's gone down to the station for him now. Going to turn Lucy's case over to him.
Another specialist on anemia?
No, my boy. Whatever this may be, it's not anemia. And this man, who speaks a dozen languages as well as his own, knows more about mysterious diseases than anyone alive.
Heaven knows it's mysterious enough, but surely the symptoms are clear.
So were poor Mina's. Perfectly clear.
A dog howls at a distance. Other dogs take up the lugubrious chorus far and near. Seward rises, crosses to the fireplace.
Ah, there they are, at it again, every dog for a mile around.
They seem howls of terror.
We've heard that chorus every night since Mina fell ill.
When I was traveling in Russia and the dogs in the village barked like that, the natives always said wolves were prowling about.
I hardly think you'll find wolves prowling about Perney, 20 miles from London.
Yet your old house might be in a wilderness. Nothing in sight except that place Carfax that Count Dracula has taken.
Your friend the Count came in again last evening.
He's no friend of mine.
And don't say that. He knows that you and I gave our blood for Lucy as well as Mina, and he's offered to undergo transfusion himself if we need another volunteer.
By Jove, that's sporting of him. I see I've misjudged him.
He seems genuinely interested in Lucy. If he were a young man, I'd think that.
What?
But his whole attitude shows that it isn't that. We need sympathy in this house, John, and I'm grateful for it.
So am I. Anyone who offers to help Lucy can have anything I've got.
Well, I think he does help Lucy. She's always seemed cheered up when he comes.
That's fine. May I go to Lucy now?
We'll go together.
The bell rings off.
Oh, that must be Van Helsing. You go ahead, and I'll come presently.
Maid shows in Abraham Van Helsing, who enters briskly, man of medium height in the early 50s, with clean-shaven, astute face, scraggy gray eyebrows, and a mass of gray hair which is brushed backwards, showing a high forehead, dark, piercing eyes set apart, nervous, alert manner, an air of resolution, clearly a man of resourceful action, incisive speech, always to the point, raps his words out sharply and quickly. Van Helsing carries a small black bag.
Professor Van Helsing.
My dear Van Helsing, I could never repay you for this.
Only a patient of yours instead of your daughter, I would have come. You once rendered me a service.
Don't speak of that. You have done it for me. Let me give you something to eat.
No, I dined on the boat train. I do not waste time. There's work to do.
Ah, Van Helsing, you cast the old spell on me. I leaned on you before you have been 2 minutes in my house.
You wrote of your daughter's symptoms. Tell me more of the other young lady, the one who died.
Poor Mina Weston. She was a girl just Lucy's age. They were inseparable. She was on a visit here when she fell ill. As I wrote you, she just grew weaker day by day. She wasted away. But there was no anemic symptoms. Her blood was normal when analyzed.
You said you performed the transfusion.
Yes, Sir William Briggs ordered that. You see this mark? Well, Lucy herself and her fiancé John Harker gave their blood as well.
So, 3 transfusions. On the effect?
She rallied after each. The color returned to her cheeks, but the next morning she would be pale and weak again. She complained of bad dreams. 10 days ago, we found her in a stupor from which nothing could rouse her. She died.
And the other symptoms?
None, except 2 little marks on the throat that I wrote you about.
And which perhaps brought me here so quickly. What were they like?
Just 2 little dots with red sensors. We decided she must have run a safety pin through the skin of her throat, trying in her delirium to fasten a scarf or shawl.
Perhaps. And your daughter's symptoms are the same.
Precisely. She too speaks of bad dreams. Van Helsing, you've lived in the tropics. May this not be something alien to our medical experience in England?
It may indeed, my friend.
A laugh is heard from behind a curtain at the window. Seward rises after Van Helsing rises, and Seward crosses up right of window and draws curtains. Renfield is standing there, repulsive youth, face distorted, shifty eyes, tasseled hair. Van Helsing back to right center.
Renfield, how did you get...
Who is this man?
One of my patients. This is gross carelessness.
Did you hear us talking?
Words, words, words.
Come, Renfield. You know you mustn't go on to about this way. How did you get out of your room?
Wouldn't you like to know?
How are the flies? Mr. Renfield makes a hobby of eating flies. I'm afraid you eat spiders too sometimes, don't you, Renfield?
When you walk into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. Excuse me, doctor. You've not introduced me to your friend.
Come, Renfield.
Humor him.
Tell the attendant to come here at once.
Yes, sir.
Oh, very well. Professor Van Helsing, Mr. Renfield, a patient of mine.
Van Helsing steps toward him. Seward left of desk. They shake hands. Van Helsing rubs Renfield's fingers with his thumb, and Renfield jerks his hand away.
Ah, who does not know Van Helsing? Your work, sir, in investigating certain obscure diseases, not altogether unconnected with forces and powers that the ignorant herd do not believe exist, is one your position that posterity will recognize.
Enter the attendant center, dressed in uniform. He starts at seeing Renfield, then looks at Seward sheepishly.
Butterworth, you have let your patient leave his room again.
Blimey, sir, I locked the door on him and I've got the key in my pocket now.
But this is the second time. Only last night you let him escape and he tried to break into Count Dracula's house across the grounds.
He didn't get out the door this time, sir. It's a drop of 30 feet out the windows. He's just a blooming eel. Now you come with me.
Renfield, if this happens again, you'll get no more sugar to spread out for your flies.
What do I care for flies now? Flies. Flies are but poor things.
As he speaks, he follows with his eyes a fly. Attendant sees the fly too, releases Renfield indulgently. With a sweep of his hand, he catches the fly, holds closed hand to ear as if listening to the buzz of the fly as he crosses a few steps left, then carries it to his mouth. Then seeing them watching him, releases it quickly.
A low form of life. Beneath my notice, I don't care a pin about flies.
Oh, don't you? Any more of your tricks and I'll take your new spider away.
Oh, no, please. Yeah, Mr. Butterworth, please leave my spider. He's getting so nice fat. When he's had another dozen flies, he'll be just about right.
He gives a little laugh, rubs his hands together, then catches the fly and makes a gesture of eating.
Come, Mr. Renfield, what makes you want to eat flies?
The wings of a fly, my dear sir, typify the aerial powers of the psychic faculties.
Butterworth, take him away.
One moment, my friend. On the spiders.
Professor Van Helsing, can you tell me why the one great spider lived for centuries in the tower of the old Spanish church and grew and grew? He never ate, but he drank and he drank. He would come down and drink all the oil of all the church lamps.
Butterworth?
One moment, Dr. Seward.
Van Helsing gets the wolfsbane from a bag on a table above the sofa and moves back to right center.
I want you to send me away. Now, tonight, in a straight waistcoat. Chain me so I can't escape. This is a sanatorium, not a lunatic asylum. This is no place for me. My cries will disturb Miss Lucy, who is ill. They will give your daughter bad dreams, Dr. Seward. Bad dreams.
We'll see about all this in the morning.
And why are you so anxious to go?
I'll tell you. Not that fool Seward. He wouldn't understand. But you.
A large bat dashes against the window. Renfield turns to the window, holds out his hands and gibbers.
No,
Crosses to the window.
no, I wasn't going to say anything.
What was that?
It was a bat, gentlemen. Only a bat. You know that in some islands of the eastern seas there are bats which hang on trees all night? And when the heat is stifling and sailors sleep on deck in those harbors, in the morning they are found dead men, white, even as Miss Mina was.
What do you know of Miss Mina? Take him to his room.
Please, why are you so anxious to be removed from here?
To save my soul.
Yes?
Oh, you'll get nothing more out of me than that. And I'm not sure I hadn't rather stay. After all, what is my soul good for? Is not what I am to receive worth the loss of my soul?
What's got him thinking about souls? Have you the souls of those spiders and flies on your conscience?
During Seward's speech, Renfield puts his fingers in his ears, shuts his eyes, distorts his face. He crosses left.
I forbid you to plague me about souls. I don't want their souls. All I want is their life. The blood is the life.
So,
That's in the Bible. What use are souls to me? I couldn't eat them
or drink?
Holding wolfsbane under his nose, Renfield's face becomes convulsed with rage and loathing. He leaps back.
You know too much to live, Van Helsing.
Attacking Van Helsing, attendant at right of Renfield, shout from him and Seward at the attack. As the attendant and Seward drag Renfield struggling to the door, he stops struggling and says clearly,
I'll go quietly.
Seward lets go of him, crosses to above desk.
I warned you to send me away, Dr. Seward. If you don't, You must answer for my soul before the judgment seat of God.
Exit the attendant in Renfield. Wild laugh during the exit that can be heard. Van Helsing puts the Wolfbang in a bag and crosses down left. Seward closes the door. Van Helsing walks right center.
My friend, you're not hurt.
No.
My deepest apologies. You'll think my place shockingly managed. What was your herb that excited him so?
Wolfsbane.
Wolfsbane? What's that? I thought I knew all the drugs in the pharmacopoeia.
One of the ermophytes. Pliny the Elder mentions the plant. It grows in the wilds of central Russia.
But why did you bring it with you?
It is a form of preventive medicine.
Well, live and learn. I've never heard of it.
Seward, I want you to have that lunatic securely watched.
Anything you say, Dr. Van Helsing, but it's my Lucy I want you to look after first.
I want to keep this man under observation.
An interesting maniac, no doubt, but surely you'll see my daughter.
I must see the records of his case.
But, Doctor,
Do you think I have forgotten why I am here?
forgive me. Of course I'll show you the records, but I don't understand why you're so curious about Renfield, because in your vast experience, I believe...
Exit left. Stage empty for a few seconds. Enter Lucy Center, supported by Harker on her right. She's a beautiful girl of 20, clad in a filmy white dressing gown, her face unnaturally pale. She walks with difficulty. Round her throat is wound a scarf. She crosses to right of desk and leans on it as Harker closes the door.
I thought they were here, Lucy.
John, do you think this new man will be any better than the others?
I'm sure he will. Anyway, Lucy, now that I'm back, I'm going to stay with you till you get over this thing.
Oh, John, but can you? Your work is in town.
You come first.
I don't think you'd better stay, John. Sometimes I feel that I want to be alone.
My dear, how can you say that you don't want me with you when you're so ill? You love me, don't you?
Yes, John, with all my heart and soul.
Just as soon as you're well enough, I'm going to take you away. We'll be married next month. We won't wait till June. We'll stretch that honeymoon month to 3 months, and the house will be ready in June.
John,
Or July.
John, do you think we could?
Of course, why not? My mother wanted us to wait, but she'll understand. And I want to get you away.
Starts to kiss her. She shudders as he does so.
Why do you shrink when I kiss you? You're so cold, Lucy. Always so cold now.
Forgive me, dear. I am yours, all yours. Oh, John, I'm just so tired, so tired.
Lucy, dear, this is my old friend, Professor Van Helsing.
My dear Miss Seward, you don't remember poor old Van Helsing. I knew you when you were just a little girl, so high, and now what charm, what beauty. A little pale, yes, but we will bring the roses back to the cheeks.
You
Now, and this, no doubt, is the fortunate young man you are to marry.
Yes,
Yes,
John.
John Harker, Professor.
Look here, Professor. I'm not going to get in your way, but if Dr. Seward will have me, I'm going to make him give me a bed here until Lucy gets over this thing. It's absolute hell being away in London, and of course I can't do any work.
You're most welcome to stay, my boy.
Yes, indeed, yes. I should have asked you to stay. I may need you. Now, lie back so, and tell me, when did this weakness first come upon you?
Sits chair left of sofa after examining eyelids, crosses, looks at her gums, examines tips of fingernails, then takes out a watch as he feels her pulse.
2 nights after poor Mina was buried, I had a bad dream.
A bad dream? Tell me about it.
I remember hearing dogs barking before I went to sleep. The air seemed oppressive. I left the reading lamp lit by my bed, but when the dream came, there seemed to come a mist in the room.
Was the window open?
Yes, I always sleep with my window open.
Oh, of course. You're English. We Continentals are not so particular about fresh air. And then?
The mist seemed so thick I could just see the lamp by my bed, a tiny spark in the fog, and then I saw two red eyes staring at me and a livid white face looking down on me out of the mist. It was horrible, horrible.
Hands covering face. Harker makes a move towards her. Van Helsing stops him by a gesture.
There. Go on, please.
The next morning, my maid could scarcely wake me. I felt weak and languid. Some part of my life seemed to have gone from me.
There have been other such dreams.
Nearly every night since then has come the mist, the red eyes, and that awful face.
We've tried transfusion twice. Each time she recovered her strength.
But then would come another dream, and now I dread the night. I know it seems absurd, Professor, but please don't laugh at me.
I'm not likely to laugh.
Gently, without answering, unwinds a scarf from her throat. She puts hand up to stop him and cries, "No, no." A look at Harker when her neck is bare. As Van Helsing does so, he starts, then quickly opens a small black bag on the table and returns with a microscope. Examines two small marks on her throat. Lucy with eyes closed. Controlling himself with difficulty, Van Helsing puts microscope back in bag, closes it, puts back chair by desk, and crosses to center.
And how long have you had these little marks on your throat?
Seward and Harker start violently and come to the couch. They look at each other in horror.
Since that first morning.
See, why didn't you tell us?
Lucy, you've worn that scarf around your throat to hide them.
Do not press her. Do not excite her.
I was afraid that would worry you, for I knew Mina had them.
Quite right, Miss Lucy, quite right. They're nothing, and old Van Helsing will see that these dreams trouble you no more.
Count Dracula.
The maids bounce left of the door. Dracula enters. Lucy registers attraction to Dracula.
Ah, good evening, Count.
Gentlemen. Miss Seward, how are you? You are looking more yourself this evening?
Lucy registers thrill. Alternate moods of attraction and repulsion, unaccountable to herself, affect Lucy in Dracula's presence, but this should be suggested subtly.
I feel better already, Count, now that Father's old friend has come to help me.
Count Dracula, Professor Van Helsing.
A most distinguished scientist whose name we know even in the wilds of Transylvania. But I interrupt the consultation.
Not at all, Count. It's good of you to come, and we appreciate your motives.
Dr. Seward has just told me of your offer, and I can't thank you enough.
It is nothing. I should be grateful to be permitted to help Miss Lucy in any way.
But you do, Count. I look forward to your visits. They seem to make me better.
And so I arrived to find a rival in the field.
You encourage me, Miss Seward, to make them more frequent, as I should like to.
I am always glad to see you.
But you have been lonely here, and my efforts to amuse you with our old tales will no longer have the same success now that you have Professor Van Helsing with you, and especially now that Mr. Harker is to remain here.
How did you know I was going to stay, Count?
And the gallant lover asked such a question. I inferred it, my friend.
You're right. Nothing is going to shift me now until Lucy's as fit as a fiddle again.
Nothing.
Please come as before, Count. Won't you?
Dracula bows to her, kisses her hand. Van Helsing, meanwhile, has been talking to maid upstage.
You understand, you will not answer bells. She must not be alone for a single moment under any circumstances. You understand?
As Dracula crosses left, Lucy leans towards Dracula, extends her hand, then recovers herself. Van Helsing registers that he sees her look at Dracula.
Yes, sir.
Good. Your maid will take you to your room. Try to rest for a little while I talk with your father.
Maid takes Lucy a few steps. Pause as Lucy looks at Dracula, then up center.
Well, remember, don't leave her alone for a moment.
Dracula circles left of desk and down left center. Maid takes Lucy out center. Lucy exchanges a long look with Dracula.
Oh, no, sir.
Professor Van Helsing, you have come from the land of the tulip to cure the nervous prostration of this charming girl. I wish you all the success.
Thank you, Count.
Do I appear officious, Dr. Seward? I am a lonely man. You are my only neighbors when I am here at Carfax, and your trouble has touched me greatly.
Count, I am more grateful for your sympathy than I can say.
You, like myself, are a stranger in England, Count.
Yes, but I love England and the great London. So different from my own Transylvania, where there are so few people and so little opportunity.
Opportunity, Count.
My investigations, Professor.
I hope you haven't been regretted buying that old ruin across there.
Oh, Carfax, not a ruin. The dust was somewhat deep, but we are used to dust in Transylvania.
You plan to remain in England, Count?
I think so, my friend. The walls of my castle are broken, and the shadows are many, and I am the last of my race.
It's a lonely spot you've chosen, Carfax.
It is. And when I hear the dogs howling far and near, I think myself back in my castle Dracula with its broken bottom.
Ah, the dogs howl there when there are wolves around, don't they?
They do, my friend. And they howl here as well, although there are no wolves. But you wish to consult the anxious father and the great specialist. May I read a book in the study? I'm so anxious to hear what the professor says and to learn if I can be of any help.
By all means, Count.
Dracula bows, exit center. Dogs howl off stage. Seward watches Dracula exit and crosses below and left of sofa.
Very kind of Dracula with his damned untimely friendliness, but now what about my daughter?
Yes, Professor. What do you think is the matter with Lucy?
Your patient, that interesting Renfield, does not like the smell of wolfsbane.
Good heavens, what's that got to do with Lucy?
Perhaps nothing.
In God's name, Professor, is there anything unnatural or occult about this business?
Occult? Van Helsing, no.
Seward, let me remind you that the superstitions of today are the scientific facts of tomorrow. Science can now transmute the electron, the basis of all matter, into energy. And what is that but the dematerialization of matter? Yet dematerialization has been known and practiced in India for centuries. In Java, I myself have seen things.
My dear old friend, you can't have filled up your fine old brain with this moonshine.
Moonshine.
But anyway, come now. What about my daughter?
Seward, if you won't listen to what will be harder to believe than any Eastern moonshine, if you won't forget your textbooks, keep an open mind, then Seward, your daughter's life may pay for your pig-headedness.
Go on, Professor.
I am listening.
Then I must ask you to listen calmly to what I'm going to say. Sit down.
Van Helsing crosses to the window, closes the curtains. Seward and Harker exchange glances, then both look at Van Helsing as they sit. Seward sits left in the divan. Harker in a chair right. Van Helsing in a chair he gets from the desk and places in front of left of divan.
You have both heard the legends of Central Europe about the werewolves and vampires.
You mean ghosts who suck the blood of the living?
If you wish to call them ghosts, I call them the undead.
For God's sakes, man. Are you suggesting that Mina and now Lucy?
Yeah, of course, I have read these horrible folk tales of the Middle Ages, Van Helsing, but I know you better than to suppose that...
That I believe in them? I do believe in them.
You mean to tell us that vampires actually exist and that Mina and Lucy have been attacked by one?
Your English doctors would all laugh at such a theory. Your police, your public would laugh. The strength of the vampire is that no one will believe in him.
Is this the help you bring us?
Do not despise it.
Doctor, this case has stumped all your specialists. Go on, Professor.
Vampires are rare. Nature abhors them. The forces of good combine to destroy them. But a few of these creatures have lived on for centuries.
What is a vampire?
A vampire, my friend, is a man or a woman who's dead and yet not dead. A thing that lives after its death by drinking the blood of the living. It must have blood or it dies. Its power lasts only from sunset to sunrise. During the hours of the day, it must rest in the earth in which it was buried. But during the night, it has the power to prey upon the living. My friend, you are thinking that you will have to put me amongst your patients.
Van Helsing, I don't know what to think, but I confess I simply can't follow you.
Makes you think that Lucy has been attacked by such a creature?
Dr. Seward's written account of these ladies' symptoms at once aroused my suspicion. Anemia. The blood of 3 men was forced into the veins of Miss Mina, and yet she died from loss of blood. Where did it go? Had your doctor specialist any answer? The vampire attacks the throat. He leaves 2 little wounds, white with red centers. Seward, you wrote me of these 2 marks on Miss Mina's throat. An accident with a safety pin, you say. So I thought, I suspected. I did not know, but I came on the instant. And what do I find? These same wounds on Miss Lucy's throat. Another safety pin, Dr. Seward.
Do you mean say that you've built up all this nightmare out of a safety pin? It's true I can't make out why she hid those marks from us.
I could tell you that.
What? I don't believe it. Of course Lucy's trouble can't be that.
I do believe it. This theory accounts for all the facts that nobody has been able to explain. We'll take her away, where this thing can't get at her.
She will not want to go.
What?
If you force her, the shock may be fatal.
But why won't she go if we tell her that her life depends on it?
Because the victim of the vampire becomes his creature linked to him in life and after death.
Professor, this is too much.
Lucy? Become an unclean thing? A demon?
Yes, Harker, and now will you help me?
Yes, anything. Tell me what to do.
It is dangerous work. Our lives are at stake, but so is Miss Lucy's life. So is her soul. We must stamp out this monster.
How can we stamp it out now?
The undead thing lies helpless by day in the earth or the tomb in which it was buried.
A corpse in a coffin?
A corpse, if you like, but not a living corpse, but a living corpse sustained by the blood of the living. If we can find its earth home, a stake driven to its heart destroys the vampire. But this is our task. In such a case, the police, all the powers of society are as helpless as the doctors. What bars or chains can hold a creature who can turn into a wolf or a bat?
A wolf? Dr. Seward, those dogs howling. I told you they howl that way in Russia when wolves are about. And a bat. Renfield said there was a bat.
Well, what of it?
Your friend Renfield does not like the smell of wolfsbane.
But what in the world has your wolfsbane to do with all this?
A vampire cannot stand the smell of wolfsbane.
You suspect that lunatic.
I suspect no one and everyone. Tell me, who is this Count Dracula?
Dracula? We really know very little about him.
When I was in Transylvania, I heard of Castle Dracula, a famous voivode Dracula who thought the Turks lived there centuries ago.
I will make inquiries by telegraph. No, but after all, this thing must be English, or at least have died here. His lair must be near enough to the house for him to get back there before sunrise. Ah, my friend, I have only these old beliefs with which to fight this monster that has the strength of 20 men, perhaps the accumulated wisdom and cunning of centuries.
It all seems a nightmare, but I'm with you, Professor.
And you, Dr. Seward?
It all seems preposterous to me, but everyone else has failed. The case is in your hands at present.
I need allies, not neutrals.
Very well, then. Do what you will.
Good. Then bring your daughter here
What are you going to do?
to set a trap. Miss Lucy is the bait.
My God, we can't let you do that.
There is no other aim. I believe this thing knows that I plan to protect Miss Lucy. This will put it on its guard, and the first moment she is alone, it will no doubt try to get at her. For a vampire must have blood, or its life in death ceases.
No, I forbid this.
She's my daughter, and I consent. We'll show the professor he's mistaken.
You allow it only because you don't believe. And I do believe. My God, doctor, I've heard that lunatic laugh. Life eating, you said he was. And you subject Lucy to that risk?
I must be master here, or I can do nothing. I must know in what form this thing comes, so before I can plan how to stamp it out. Bring your daughter here.
Crosses left as Seward goes up, turns and sees Harker looking at him, stares at Harker. There is a short pause, then Harker reluctantly exits center. Seward exits center. Van Helsing puts back the chair by the desk, thinks a moment, stands center. He turns right, then left, noting the position of the doors, the furniture, etc. He then crosses and turns out the lights. The room is dark except for the firelight. Van Helsing moves into the firelight, looks at the divan, and then walks back to the door center and turns, looking at the couch, satisfying himself that the light from the fire is sufficient to see anything that happens on the divan. Opens the curtains. Doors center open sharply, and Van Helsing starts violently, and the attendant enters, crosses down right and up center.
Beg pardon, sir. Is Dr. Seward here?
What do you want with him?
Old flycatcher's escaped again, sir.
Escaped? How?
God blimey, out the window. The door's still locked, and I was out in the corridor all the while. It's a drop of 30 feet to the stone flagging. That loony's a blooming flying squirrel, he is.
Say nothing to Dr. Seward at present. Nothing. Do you hear? Now go.
The attendant exits. Van Helsing switches on the lights again, crosses right and down to below the divan. Enter Lucy, center, supported by Harker and Seward. Harker is on her right.
Oh.
Lucy, you have nothing to fear.
I want you to lie down here, my dear.
But doctor.
You trust me, do you not?
She smiles weakly at him and nods. They place her on the divan. Van Helsing puts pillow right under her head. Seward at the left end of couch arranges her skirt. Harker back of divan.
I want you to lie here for just a little.
But I'm so frightened.
Make your mind passive. Try not to think. Sleep if you can.
I dare not sleep. It's when I sleep.
I know, my dear, I know. I am going to cure you with God's help.
Oh, but Father.
You must do as the professor says. Come.
Come, Harker.
Van Helsing motions out Seward, steps to center door. Harker hovers over Lucy. Exit center. Seward. Harker lingers and Van Helsing calls him. Harker crosses up and exits. Van Helsing pats him on the back as he and Harker go out. Van Helsing switches off the lights. No movement. Lucy closes her eyes. A low howl is heard outside. Howl of a wolf. It is followed by a distant barking of dogs. Firelight grows dimmer. Dracula's hand appears from the back of the couch, then his face. Lucy screams and swoons. When Lucy screams, ad lib off stage, up center until Van Helsing switches on the lights.
Lucy! Lucy!
Professor, what is it?
Van Helsing enters, switches on the lights. Seward is on his left, Harker left of Seward. They stand just in front of the door center as a bat flies in the room from the windows to center and then out the window. Bat comes in the second the lights are on.
You saw.
God, what was that?
Lucy! Lucy, speak to me!
Take her to her room, Harker, quickly.
Harker carries Lucy up right of the door center as Dracula enters center, walks down stage 3 steps, looks about, his glance taking in everyone.
The patient is better, I hope.
Renfield gives a wild laugh off stage right. Van Helsing, Seward, and Harker look right. Renfield gives a second wild laugh. Curtain.
All right, let's take a 5-minute break. Everybody need to run to the restroom, and we'll come right back.
By the way, you guys,
Kim's
you all
here.
need to know this for your performances, but we do have the howling dogs.
Actually, Debbie
Wild
Jean, hit it.
dogs.
Debbie Jean has a sound effect.
We got that going for us.
It's hard to
She
do.
could
All right,
attack at any moment.
there you go. We'll be right back.
Kim's here, thank goodness.
Hi, Kim.
Thank you.
You did great, Debbie Jean.
Oh my God. I am
You
bad.
did. Good. I'm gonna get some more water. This series on Netflix is so dang interesting, you guys.
None of that, Jeannie.
Sorry.
We can see you yawning now, so.
Oh no. So Jim, where are you? You're in England?
I am. I'm in London right now. Yeah.
Did you watch the Jaguars game?
No, I did not. But I did go to a Crystal Palace soccer game or football game yesterday. So that was a
Oh.
big fun. Yeah, these guys get really serious about their football.
I couldn't believe how many people from Jacksonville went to the game that were on my feed. I was like, geez, Louise.
Wow.
One of the breweries had a breakfast kickoff at 8:30 this morning. Watch the game.
Debbie Jean, I had a Bloody Mary. Thank you very much. It was delicious.
You're muted, babe.
You muted, Debbie Jean.
Fine. Did everybody get their package? I figured Jim didn't because I sent his to Skin Camp Creek, whatever.
No, yeah, Skin Camp Creek Road. Oh, yeah. No, Jill got it. She told me it's there, so it's waiting for me for when I get home. Thank you.
Good. And incidentally, do you know the Blackburns that live there in Todd or have a home there?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, they're from
Right.
Cherryville and their family supposedly have like very historic roots to Todd. Because I actually knew where it was when you said that. I was like, oh my God, that's where the Blackburns are from.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is what Debbie Jean sent us.
Does the blood work? I didn't understand the
don't know.
blood.
I don't know. I didn't try it.
I couldn't resist.
Kim, are you there? Can we see you? Or she may just be monitoring. There she is. Hey, Kim.
Hey,
Hey,
Are you able to join us? Or, I mean, you want to read or you just going to watch? You're muted, sweetie. You got to unmute yourself.
Oh, I prefer not to. My voice.
That's fine. We're just glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm sick now.
Oh, he's got a house full of hikers, right?
It's full of hikers, yeah, and people who attended a wedding and kind of passed through, and so they're gone now. So it's been a lot of college boys, but that's
Yeah.
normal. So kind of normal. But
Wow.
so
Well, we're just glad you could join us.
yeah. So
You want to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing? Everybody else was kind of going around talking about what they've been doing since college.
So mostly I've been working in the nonprofit world. I got a master's from NC State, and I was the executive director, field director, and then executive director of a couple of United Ways. And I had to take an early retirement for health reasons, serious spinal issues. And after my, I think, 6th spinal surgery, doctors wouldn't let me get back to work in full time in 2019. So in 2020, I had to retire from that. So now I am a photographer, kind of, that's my only thing I do. And so it was okay because I was already doing that part-time. And so about 60% of my business is surprise sports photography.
Nice.
So I work seasonal part-time for one company, and I string for a family of newspapers, and then I have my own business, and I keep probably more than part-time busy with that. So my doctors probably aren't thrilled with that, but it keeps me busy enough, and my doctors like that for the most part.
Good. I would just like to know why all the men got older, but the women still look the same.
Oh. No, not so much. I think I gained about 20 pounds, so not so hot.
I saw Kim and Debbie Jean have been down to Orlando to see me.
Yeah.
And of course,
Oh, wow.
Jeannie's just up in Jacksonville. Yeah.
I happened to
Girls
jump.
trip. That was fun.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yep. And Mark treated us. That was fun. Took us on a trip.
mhm.
Yeah. They still
That's
haven't
cool.
brought that fireworks cruise back. I used to do a pirate fireworks cruise. We'd go out from the Contemporary Hotel. And I thought that would be one of the first things they'd bring back after pandemic because it was outside. But they
Oh.
still haven't brought it back. Yeah.
Aw.
My kids to this day, that is their favorite memory of Disney. They loved that. Thank you so
Yay.
much for
Oh,
letting
yeah.
us do that.
Absolutely. Well, if you guys ever want to come back down, I have a pontoon boat. I'll take you out on my own boat.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah,
Jeannie,
I live-
sounds good.
Yeah.
you hosting, you letting us stay there? I'll come tomorrow.
I do have a New Year's Eve party annual New Year's Eve party this year we're doing it the week after New Year's, but you're all invited to that if you'd like to come. If you ever make it down.
Thank
Jeannie,
you.
can I stay with you? And who said someone lives in Tampa? Your parents, maybe, Bill?
Yes.
Tell them to go to 610 Brewery. Those are my cousins.
Okay. My brother-in-law will want to go.
Yeah. Oh, there's the wolves. There's the wolves
That's
howling.
my fault.
No, I've done it every single time. Is it not showing up?
No,
not
it
hear
doesn't come through. That's all right. Don't worry
Oh.
about it.
I've heard
Well,
it a couple
I'm
times.
Play it now so we can all hear it.
I'm doing it, but it's not showing it. Is it doing it now?
There it is.
There it is.
I
Kim, do
think,
you?
I think what we're gonna have to do is like when Jim is saying it, if he'll pause and then let me do it, or is that gonna take away from it? I don't know.
No, I-
not at all.
try
I
it.
can do it.
Just give a pause. I'm gonna take a picture of everybody on the screen. I don't know how to.
Oh
that.
God, I didn't put
Everybody
makeup
smile.
on.
No, you're fine.
A liar.
I didn't. put
No,
any
I
makeup
didn't.
on
I didn't do
either.
my hair or anything. I did
have
put
no
mascara and
makeup
lipstick
on.
on.
I have a little
Southern
makeup.
girls do lipstick and that's all you need to do.
Eh,
Good
Somebody
enough
else
for
got it?
all of you.
Bill, you got a camera right there? Anybody got a camera? Mine's not working.
You should be able to do it just through the app.
I don't know. I don't know how
A
to do that.
You can't do a screenshot?
I don't know how to do that. Anybody else? I'm too old.
Yeah, hold
I
on, I'll
gotcha.
do it.
Let me see.
All right, smile, everybody. Ta-da.
Kim, I'm begging you. I'm begging you, Kim. You
Yeah,
know,
this will work. I'll send this to
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
can't, okay.
Kim, do you have any memories of the show you want to share? Everybody else was kind of talking about memories and funny things that happened. You got to unmute yourself, though.
Can't really think of anything. No, not really. No, I just loved working with Edwin and John. Great deal.
Yeah.
Remember that a lot. I had a lot of
Kim,
fun.
I was on break when you showed up. It's so good to see you, and you are completely unchanged.
Don't lick me.
Who said that?
I did.
John,
Oh,
You look fabulous.
thank you.
do you remember when Jim had us rehearse or we went to the cemetery and had a midnight rehearsal?
Oh, yeah, I do remember. That's not a favorite
The
memory.
enthusiasm.
Go away, guys. Gotta go away. Go away now. Go.
All right. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's start with Act 2. Jim, whenever you're ready.
All right. Dracula, Act 2. Scene: Lucy's boudoir. Window rear, right rear, closed but curtains open. Chairs small, occasional table with toilet articles on it by the window. Couch against the wall, up left center. Mirror on the wall. Small stand with flowers in a vase near the wall left. Doors right leading into the bedroom, left leading into the hall. Arch left center. Time the next evening. At rise, dogs howling.
Oh, well.
As curtain
I don't know why it's not doing it.
maid
I get it.
enters the door right, steps in the doorway, glances at the window over her left shoulder, takes a few steps center, looks back over her right shoulder, then to the couch, takes a newspaper, sits on the couch, reads the newspaper. As she turns a page, the attendant knocks on the door.
Who is that?
Excuse me, miss. Did you happen to see anything of the governor's pet Loney? He's out again, he is.
And what would he be doing here? You'll not hold your job, you won't, if you can't keep that man safe and sound. Why, he gets out every night.
Yeah, don't go, miss.
Miss Lucy's asked for the evening paper.
The attendant crosses up left and looks about the room. The maid smiles as she goes off right, indicates speedy return. Attendant looks out the window and then looks under the couch. The maid returns. Her line comes just as the attendant bends over, causing him to jump back frightened.
Well, have you found him?
No, I haven't. And I'll tell you, miss, this job's fairly getting on my nerves.
Your nerves? And what about my nerves? Isn't it enough to have dogs howling every night and foreign counts bobbing up out of the floor and Miss Lucy taking on the way she does with everybody having their veins drained of blood for her? And this Dutch Sherlock Holmes with the x-ray eyes about without you letting that Renfield loose.
I haven't let him loose. Just now, I hears a noise like a wolf howling, and I open his door with me key, and what do I see but his legs going out through the window, as though he's going to climb down that smooth wall. He ain't human, he ain't.
Climb down the wall?
I don't expect no one to believe it, but I seen it. And what's more, I grabbed hold of his feet, I did.
Climbing down head first, like a bat?
Queer you mention of bats, but just as I got hold of him, a big bat flies in the window and it hits me in the face.
I know where that bat came from.
You do? Where?
Out of your belfry.
Oh, no, miss. It's God's truth, I'm telling you. And look, out that bat flies and the loony's gone. But I heard him laugh, and God, what a laugh. Blimey, but I'll catch it from the governor for this.
If you tell the governor any such tales, he'll shut you up with the loony.
Oh, miss, but you're a smart one. That's just what I've been thinking. And I daren't say I'm what I've seen or what I've heard, but he's harmless, that bloke.
Wouldn't hurt a fly, would he?
Hurt a fly? No, not he. He only eats them. Why, he'd rather eat a few blue bottles than a pound of the best steak. And what he does with spiders is a crime.
It seems to me somebody will be coming after you in a minute. You and your spiders.
I say, miss, this is a queer neighborhood. What What a drop that is to the ground. You don't have to be afraid of burglars, do you? No way of getting up here unless they fly. Don't you ever feel a bit lonesome like out here on your nights off?
Just lately, I have a bit. I never noticed trees had such shadows before.
Well, if you feel like an escort, miss.
I'll not walk with you in your uniform. People might be taking me for one of your loonies.
In Mufti then, tomorrow night.
I say you haven't wasted much time, have you?
I've had my eye on you.
Better keep that eye on your loony or you'll be looking for a new job. Here, you, buzz off. Your governor will be in any minute. Go find your loony.
Oh, all right. But I got something here that'll tempt him back to his room.
Why? What's that?
He fumbles in his pocket. She comes up to him, takes a white mouse by the tail out of his pocket, holds it in her face.
This here.
She screams, crosses right, climbs on the chair, holds her skirts.
Take it away!
The mouse climbs up his arm to the shoulder, to the mouse.
Come on, Cuthbert. We ain't too popular. Some people have no sense of humor.
What was that?
Pardon, sir. He frightened me with that animal.
Animal? What animal?
A white mouse, sir.
But you mustn't scream. Not in this house now.
I'm sorry, sir, but that nasty little beast.
You alarmed Miss Lucy so. She's dreadfully upset as it is by something in the paper.
Oh, do you mean about that Hampstead horror, sir? The lady in white who gives chocolates to little children.
Never mind that, but I will not have Miss Lucy disturbed.
Exits right. The dogs howl. Until Dracula speaks. The maid crosses left, looks toward the window, then crosses left. Lights go out. The maid screams. Green spot comes on Dracula. He has entered a window upright while the lights are out. When the green spot comes on, he is right center. The maid screams again as she sees him.
Yay!
Oh, forgive me. My footfall is not heavy and your rugs are soft.
It's all right, sir. But how did you come in?
The door of this room was ajar, so I did not knock. How is Miss Lucy and her nervous prostration?
I think she's better, sir.
Good. But the strain of Miss Lucy's illness has made you also ill, yes?
How did you know, sir? But it's only a pain in my head that runs down into the neck.
I can remove this pain.
I don't understand, sir.
Such pains yield readily to suggestion.
Excuse me, sir, but if it's hypnotism you mean, I'd rather have the pain.
Oh, you'd think of hypnotism as an ugly waving of arms and many passes, but that is not my method.
As he speaks, he gestures quietly with his left hand and she stares at him, fascinated. Placing his left thumb against her forehead, he stares straight into her eyes. She makes a feeble effort to remove his hand, then remains quiescent, and he now speaks coldly, imperatively, turns her face to the front before speaking.
What is given can be taken away. From now on, you have no pain, and you have no will of your own. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
When you awake, you will not remember what I say. Dr. Seward ordered you today to sleep with your mistress every night in the same bed because of her bad dreams. Is it not so?
Yes, master.
Your mistress is threatened by horror or by death, but I will save her. A man whose will is at cross purposes with mine has come to this house. I will crush him. Receive your orders. You hear me?
Yes, master.
Hear and obey. From now on, you will carry out any suggestion that reaches you from my brain instantly, without question. When I call you to do a thing, it shall be done. My call will reach you soon.
The green spot dims out slowly. Dracula exits through the window. The lights come on. Dogs howl outside.
Oh,
Until Van Helsing enters left. The maid looks up at the window, then to the left, takes a step or two right as Van Helsing enters. Van Helsing enters left. His face is paler. He looks drawn and weak. He carries the box tied with a string.
You've not left your mistress alone.
Dr. Seward is with her, sir.
What's wrong with you, my girl?
Nothing, sir.
You've just had a severe shock.
It's nothing, sir. I suddenly felt queer. That's all. I can't remember anything.
Mr. Harker has just arrived. Ask Dr. Seward to come here. Remain with Miss Lucy yourself.
Yes, sir. She's dreadfully upset, sir.
Upset over what?
It's in the evening paper, sir, about the Hampstead horror. Yes, sir.
Oh, God. She has seen it.
Everything just the same? When I leave this house, even for a few hours, I dread what I may find when I come back.
And well you may, my friend.
God must have sent you here to help us. Without you, there'd be no hope. And this morning, Professor, when you opened your veins to revive Lucy again,
It was the least I could do, for my lack of foresight was responsible for the attack.
don't say that.
Her maid slept with her, and yet we found the wolfsbane thrown off the bed to the floor.
She was so weak, so pale. The two little wounds opened fresh again.
I have prepared a stronger defense, but our main task is not defense, but attack. What have you found in London?
A lot, but heaven knows what it means or whether it's any use.
I, too, have had news of which I can make nothing.
Ah, John, back from town.
Yes.
We must try to piece together what we have learned today. My colleague in Bucharest wires that the Dracula family has been extinct for 500 years.
Can the Count be an imposter?
The castle he calls his own is a desolate ruin near the border. It was built, as you said, Harker, by the terrible Voivode Dracula, who was said to have had dealings with evil spirits. He was the last of his race, but for many generations, the peasants have believed the Castle Dracula inhabited by a vampire.
Then it must be he.
My friends, I am bewildered.
But surely this confirms your suspicions. I was incredulous till I saw that creature hovering over Lucy.
A vampire from Transylvania cannot be in England.
But why?
Because, as I have told you, the vampire must rest by day in the earth, and which corpse it inhabits was buried.
In the earth?
The vampire must return to its burial place by sunrise.
I found today that Dracula arrived at the Croydon Aerodrome in a 3-engined German plane on March 6th.
March the 6th, 3 days before Mina first was taken ill.
This plane had made a non-stop flight from Seackley in Transylvania. It left just after sunset. It arrived 2 hours before dawn. It carried only the Count and 6 packing cases.
Did you learn what was in those cases?
He told the customs people he wanted to see whether Transylvanian plants would grow in a foreign climate in their native soil.
Soil? What was in those boxes?
Just plain dirt. He left in a lorry with the 6 coffin-like boxes before sunrise.
Oh, God, before sunrise. The king of the vampires, my friends. This creature is the terrible Voivode Dracula himself. In his satanic pride and contempt, he even uses his own name. For who could suspect? For 500 years, he has been feted to his castle because he must sleep by day in his graveyard. 5 centuries pass. The aeroplane is invented. His chance has come, for now he can cross Europe in a single night. He prepared 6 coffins filled with the earth in which he must rest by day. He leaves his castle after sunset, and by dawn he is in London and safe in one of his cases. A great risk, but he has triumphed. He has reached London with its teeming millions, with its opportunity, as he said.
God protect my Lucy.
I saw the estate agent from whom he bought Carfax here and got the address of 4 old houses he has leased in different parts of London.
One of his coffin retreats is in each of those houses.
Your 2 heavy boxes were delivered at Carfax the day after he took possession.
He has scattered them for safety. If we can find all 6, we can destroy him.
But how?
His native earth would no longer receive his unclean form if each box is sanctified with holy water.
Then we must get at those boxes, tear them open one by one. If we find him, then in God's name, Professor, I demand that my hand shall drive the stake into this devil's heart and send his soul to hell.
Your plan is too dangerous.
But why? These attacks on Lucy continue. Are we to delay while my child is dying?
No, not for a moment.
Patience, my friends. This creature is more than mortal. His cunning is the growth of the ages. How if we find 5 of his boxes and close them against him and cannot find the 6th?
Well?
Then he will bury himself in his last refuge, where we will never find him, and sleep until we are all dead.
Lucy will be safe.
For her life, yes. But his unclean kiss has claimed her for his own. When she dies, she will become as he is, a foul thing of the night. The vampire can wait. No, my friends, there is only one way to save her from him, to destroy him.
You're right, as always.
We have one great advantage. By day, he is confined corpse. Of our search by day, he can know nothing if we leave no traces.
Ah, this delay.
We must make the rounds of his houses and find all 6 boxes without his knowledge, and then we act.
But what about the caretakers or servants?
All the houses will be empty. The vampire plays a lone hand.
Maniacal laugh heard behind the curtains of the window right. Seward walks to the window,
Renfield!
takes Renfield by the arm and throws him into the room right center. Renfield laughs cunningly.
He's been here the whole time. We've been talking.
Did you hear what we were saying, man?
Yes, I heard something. Enough. Be guided by what he says. It is your only hope. It is her only hope. It is my only hope. Save my soul. Save my soul. I am weak. You are strong. I am crazy. You are sane. You are good. And he is evil.
I will save you, Renfield, but you must tell me what you know. Everything.
No. What should I know? I don't know anything. You say I'm mad, and Dr. Seward will tell you about that. You mustn't pay any attention to anything I say.
We can't waste time with this fellow. I'll have him taken away.
Fool! Fool, and I thought you were wise. The whole world is mad just now, and if you want help, you must come to a madman to get it. But I'll not give it to you, I'm afraid. A wise madman will obey him who is strong, not the weak.
Him? Who do you mean, Renfield?
Need we mention names among friends? Oh, come, Professor, be reasonable. What have I got to gain by being on your side? The doctor keeps me shut up all day, and if I'm good, he gives me a little sugar to spread out for my flies. But on the other hand, if I serve him...
Their blood is the life, eh, Renfield? What have you to do with Count Dracula?
Dracula! I've never even heard the name before.
You are lying.
Oh, madmen, Professor, lack the power to discriminate between truth and falsehood. So I take no offense at what most men would consider an affront. Send me away. I asked you to before and you wouldn't. If you only knew what has happened since then, I cannot tell you. Dear, I should die in torment if I betrayed.
Dr. Seward will send you away if you speak.
Yes, Renfield, I offer you your soul in exchange for what you know.
God will not damn a poor lunatic soul. God knows the devil is strong for us who have weak minds. But send me away. I want you to promise, Dr. Seward.
If you will speak.
Come, Renfield.
A pause, sets himself, looks at Seward, Van Helsing, Harker, and Seward again, then speaks as a sane man.
Then I will tell you. Count Dracula is...
A bat comes in window, flies out again. Renfield rushes to the window with arms outstretched, screaming.
Master! Master, I didn't say anything. I told them nothing. I'm loyal to you. I am your slave.
There's a big bat flying in a circle. It's gone.
What's that? Just passing that small shrub. It looks like a big gray dog.
Are you sure it is a dog?
Well, it might easily be a wolf. Oh, but that's nonsense. Our nerves are making us see things.
Come, Renfield, what were you about to say?
Nothing. Nothing.
He moves down. Lucy enters right with the newspaper, crosses right center to Van Helsing.
Professor, have you seen what's in this?
Miss Lucy, give it to me.
Are you Miss Seward?
I am.
Then in the name of the merciful and compassionate God, leave this place at once.
But this is my home. Nothing could induce me to leave.
Oh, that's true. You wouldn't go if they tried to drag you away, would you? It's too late. What a fool I am. I shall be punished for this and it can't do any good. It's too late. You are so young, so beautiful, so pure. Even I have decent feelings sometimes, and I must tell you, and if you don't go, your soul will pay for it. You're in the power of...
The bat flies in the window and out. Renfield to the window and screams. Seward swings left towards the couch. Harker crosses to Lucy to protect her.
The master is at hand.
Butterworth!
Goodbye, Miss Seward. Since you will not heed my warning, I pray God that I may never see your face again.
What did he mean, Professor? What did he mean? Why did he say that?
That crazy thing in league with the devil. Horrible. And Lucy already upset by something in the paper.
Go in and get that paper from her.
Whatever it is, she keeps on reading that article again and again.
Take it away from her, man, and come back to me.
Don't overdo it, Van Helsing. God knows where we should be if you went under. After a transfusion operation, at your age, you really ought to be in bed. The loss of so much blood is serious.
I've never felt more fit in my life.
I only ask you not to overestimate your strength now when we lean on you. Feeling fit, are you? Just look at yourself in the glass.
Van Helsing, alone, registers as tired and exhausted and walks slowly across the room, looking at his drawn face in the mirror left. Dracula, with stealthy tread, an evening dress and cloak as before, enters from the window upright and walks slowly to directly behind Van Helsing. Van Helsing, looking at himself, touching his face, shakes his head.
The devil.
Tom,
Van
not as
Helsing turns suddenly, as if to see him, and looks back into the mirror.
not as bad as that.
Long look in the mirror, then turns to Dracula, controlling himself with difficulty.
I did not hear you, Count.
I am often told that I have a light footstep.
I was looking in the mirror.
Turns and looks again, turns back to Dracula.
Its reflection covers the whole room, but I cannot see.
Pause. He turns to the mirror. Dracula, face convulsed by fury, picks up a small vase with flowers from a stand and smashes the mirror, pieces of mirror and vase tumbling to the floor. Van Helsing steps back, looks at Dracula with loathing and terror.
Forgive me. I dislike mirrors. They are the playthings of man's vanity. And how's the fair patient?
The diagnosis presents difficulties.
I feared it might, my friend.
Would you care to see what I have prescribed for the patient?
Anything that you prescribe for Miss Lucy has the greatest interest for me.
Van Helsing crosses to the table under the mirror to get a box. Dracula crosses left, meets Van Helsing, coming back with the box. Van Helsing deliberately turns back on him, causing Dracula to cross, circling down left. Van Helsing goes to a small table at right of arch. Van Helsing turns front as he opens the pocket knife. He then turns to cut the string on the box he has placed on the table. As he turns upstage, Dracula faces upstage. Van Helsing is cutting string of the parcel on the table, cuts his finger. Van Helsing gives a slight exclamation of pain. He holds up a finger covered with blood. Dracula starts for Van Helsing with right hand raised, then keeping control with difficulty, turns away so as not to see the blood. Van Helsing stares at him a moment, then he walks up and sticks bleeding finger in front of him.
The prescription is a most unusual one.
Dracula, baring teeth, makes a sudden snap at the finger. Van Helsing turns away quickly, ties his handkerchief around it. Dracula again regains poise with an effort.
The cut is not deep. I looked.
No, but it will serve. Here is my medicine for Miss Lucy.
Dracula comes up to Van Helsing, who quickly holds a handful of wolfsbane up to his face. Dracula leaps back, face distorted with rage and distress, shielding himself with a cloak, putting wolfsbane back in the box.
You do not care for the smell.
You are a wise man, Professor, for one who's not lived even one single lifetime.
You flatter me, Count.
But not wise enough to return to Holland at once, now that you have learned what you have learned.
I preferred to remain, even though a certain lunatic here attempted to kill me.
Lunatics are difficult. They do not do what they are told. They even try to betray their benefactors. But when servants fail to obey orders, the master must carry them out for himself.
I anticipated as much.
In the past 500 years, Professor, those who have crossed my path have all died, and some not pleasantly.
Continues to gaze at Van Helsing, lifts his arm slowly, says with terrible emphasis and force,
Come here.
Van Helsing pales, staggers, and then slowly takes 3 steps towards Dracula. Very slight pause as Van Helsing attempts to regain control of himself, then takes another step towards Dracula, pauses, places hand to brow, and then completely regains control of himself and looks away to right center.
Ah, your will is strong. Then I must come to you.
Advances to Van Helsing, who takes out of breast pocket a small velvet bag. Dracula stops.
More medicine, Professor.
More effective than wolfsbane, Count.
Indeed.
Starts for Van Helsing's throat. Van Helsing holds the bag out toward him. Dracula's face becomes convulsed with terror and he retreats left before Van Helsing, who follows him.
Sacrilege!
I have a dispensation.
Van Helsing has cut himself off from the door left and remorselessly presses him towards the window. Dracula, livid with rage and snarling, backs out the window. As Dracula is just outside the window, he spreads his cape like a bat and gives a long satirical laugh as he makes exit. Van Helsing almost collapses, puts the bag back in his pocket, crosses himself, mops perspiration from brow with handkerchief. A shot is heard. Van Helsing leaps up, rushes to the window. The bat circles almost into his face. He staggers back. Seward hurries in, carrying a newspaper from the door.
God, Van Helsing, what was that?
A revolver shot. It came as a relief. That at least is something human.
Who broke the mirror?
I.
Sorry if I startled you. I saw that infernal bat around this side of the house. I couldn't resist a shot.
Did you hit it?
Why,
A bullet was never made, my friend, that could harm that bat. My weapons are stronger.
What do you mean?
Dracula has been here.
Good God.
How did he get in?
You ask how the vampire king during the hours of the night, the hours that are his comes and goes. As the wind, my friend, as he pleases. He came to kill me. But I carry a power stronger than his.
What power?
I expected an attack. I secured a dispensation from the cardinal. I have with me the host. He came. I proved my case as if it needed proof. The mirror does not reflect the man that was, who casts no shadow. See, I cut my finger. It leapt at the blood, but before the sacred wafer, it fled.
Lucy must not know.
Miss Lucy knows more than you think.
How can she? If she knew, she'd tell me.
As these attacks continue, she comes more and more under his power. There is a mystic link between them. Oh, it is hard to bear, but you must face it. It may be that he can already learn what passes in her mind. And so Miss Lucy must not be told what we know about the earth boxes, for he may learn whatever she knows.
But, Professor, that would mean that Lucy is in collusion with this creature. That's impossible.
No, Miss Lucy, you must not.
See, what's in this paper that's upset you?
Read it.
No, Harker, no.
The Hampstead
Read it.
Horror. Further attacks on small children committed after dark by a mysterious and beautiful woman in Hampstead are reported today. Narratives of 3 small girls, all under 10 years of age, tally in essential details. Each child speaks of a beautiful lady in white who gave her chocolates, enticed her to some secluded corner, and there kissed and fondled her and bit her slightly in the throat.
Go on.
The wounds are trivial. The children suffered no other harm and do not seem to have been frightened. Indeed, one small girl told her mother she hoped she might see the beautiful lady again.
So soon, so soon.
You know what has been happening, Lucy?
Professor Van Helsing knows too, Lucy, and he knows how to protect you.
Is it not too late?
No, Miss Lucy, it is not too late.
These poor innocent children.
You think that Count Dracula,
Not that name.
you think that the vampire has done this too.
Of course, in the form of a woman. Who else could it be?
It is worse, far worse.
Worse? What do you mean?
Miss Lucy knows.
The woman in white is Mina.
Mina? But she's dead, Lucy.
She has joined the master.
Oh, God, have pity on us all.
My dear Miss Lucy, I will not ask you how you know. After tonight, no more little children will meet the woman in white. She will remain at rest in the tomb where you laid her, and her soul, released from this horror, will be with God.
How can you do this?
Do not ask me.
Professor, if you can save Mina's soul after her death, can you save mine?
Oh, Lucy.
I will save you in God's name, I swear it, and he has given me a sign in this room tonight.
Then promise one thing. Whatever you plan to do, whatever you know, do not tell me. Not even if I beg you. Tell me, swear that you will not. Now, while I'm still yours, while I myself promise it.
I promise it.
No,
John, you mustn't kiss me. Promise that you never will, not even if I beg you to.
I promise.
My dear Miss Lucy, from tonight on, one of us will be awake all night here in this room next to your bedroom with your door open.
You are so good.
Yes, and I will make the room safe for you, and the maid will be with you. Dr.
Harker.
Rob,
Parker talks to Lucy on the couch while Van Helsing takes a handful of wolfsbane.
Dr. Rub these over the window in the little room there. See, like this. Rub it around the sashes and especially above the lock.
Seward watches Van Helsing rubbing, then takes the wolfsbane from Van Helsing quickly, crosses left and through the arch up left center. Van Helsing turns, goes to the table left, and takes out a wreath of wolfsbane.
See, I have made this wreath that you must wear around your neck tonight. While you wear this, those dreams cannot come to you.
Hangs wolfsbane around her neck, takes out a pocket crucifix on a cord, which he also hangs around her neck.
Swear to me that you will not take these off.
I promise.
Swear it on the cross.
I swear it.
Professor, surely the host is more powerful than this wolf's bane.
Of course.
Then leave the host with her. Nothing can harm her then.
No, the host cannot be used where there's been pollution.
Screams off left.
Patrick.
Oh, it's Renfield, sir.
Why haven't you got him locked up?
Because he's barred himself in, sir. He's got a hold of one of those patients. He's got her by the throat.
Ah, human blood now. Come, Seward, come, Harker.
I should have sent him away.
The maid crosses to Lucy. Van Helsing and Seward exit left. Harker hesitates, then follows them off left. Harker ad-libs during this exit. It's all right, Lucy. I'll be right back. Except
John. I said, John.
Don't you leave me too.
Got another line, Debbie Jean.
Oh God, I'm trying to like look at this sound effects at the same time. Don't you leave me too.
Of course I won't, Miss Lucy. It's nothing but a quarrel among the patients. Mr. Harker will be back soon.
the maid places her on the couch. Lucy swoons. The maid gets smelling salts.
Here, Miss Lucy.
Dracula's face appears back of the tapestry on the rear wall, disappears after a count of 8 or 9. The maid steps down right, face audience, gets the message, then returns, puts the salts back to the dresser, crosses to Lucy.
These evil smelling flowers have made you faint.
Takes the crucifix and the wreath, steps right, throws them on the floor, crosses 2 steps down right. Another message comes to her, puts her hand to her head, turns slowly, looks at the window, steps toward the couch.
It's so close, madam. A little air.
Turns to the window. Lucy moans again. The maid pulls back a latch, opens the window. As the window opens, clouds of mist roll in. Steps down, gets the message, count 8, switches lights out. The stage is now dark. Dogs without, far and near, howl in terror. After the maid exits, the dogs continue to howl. When all the lights out, the gauze curtain comes down and a green floodlight dims up from the front. Before green is up, Dracula comes on from the door up left center with a cape over his face. The green spot comes on and covers him. As the green spot slowly dims, he brings the cape down from his face as he moves to center. Another green spot dims up, covering the couch and center of stage. He stands center with the back to the audience, hands outstretched to resemble a large bat. Moves up a few steps. Lucy gets up from the couch slowly and falls in his arms. A long kiss, and then, as she falls back on his right arm, he bares her throat and starts down to bite her as the curtain falls.
Ooh, oh.
Vampire. I'm alone in my basement. I'm getting scared.
All right, going on. Everybody good?
Yep.
Yep.
Act 3. Scene 1, same as Act 1. Empty stage. In this act, a stake and a hammer on the upstage end of the desk. Dogs howl. until Van Helsing enters. A count of 10. Curtains move as if someone entering a window. Then chair back of desk, which is turned upstage, moves around facing front. Then Van Helsing enters with Seward.
What is it?
Anybody what wants my job can have it.
What's the matter?
I knows what I knows, and what I seen I saw, and I hopes by the first train I don't ask for no wages in lieu of notice.
Where's Winfield?
If you ask me, I say he's probably paying a little visit to hell.
Would you let him escape again?
Look here, sir. I haven't, so to speak, resigned. I don't have to put up with any more from you. What a man can't help, he can't help, and that's that.
Can't you see, man, that Dr. Seward is not well? Will you desert him when he needs all the help he can get?
Putting it that way, sir, I ain't a man to run under fire, but I'm sick and tired of being told off for what ain't my fault.
We don't blame you. No bolts of ours could hold Winfield.
Now, sir, you're talking sense. I had him in a straitjacket this time. Nearly all yesterday I worked at clamping the bars across the window, and now I find them pulled apart like they were made of cheese and him gone.
Then try to find him.
Find him, sir? Find him? I can't chase him up and down the wall. I ain't no bloody mountain goat.
This thing mocks us. A few hours after he finds out what we know and what we have done, he comes here and drags that poor creature of his to himself.
What can the vampire want with Renfield?
Renfield is serving an apprenticeship to join the vampire king after his death. We must prevent that.
What does Renfield matter? If we are beaten, then there is no God.
We dare not despair, Seward.
To figure out in advance what anyone would do who got on his track.
I thought we had him when we broke into Carfax and found 2 earth boxes there, and then found the 1 box in each of the other 4 houses. And when I pried up the lid on the 6th box, I was sure we would find him there, helpless.
Empty.
An empty packing case left as a blind.
He only brought 6 in his plane, so there can only be the 1 left.
Only 1, but hidden where we can never find it. And now we have put him on his guard.
Yes. It's not half an hour till sunrise. Poor John has been sitting up with Lucy for 9 hours. She'll be safe at dawn, and he can get some sleep. If anyone can sleep in this house.
Whoever else sleeps or does not sleep, Miss Lucy will sleep at dawn.
Another whore?
Oh, and you've noticed how she keeps awake all night and sleeps by day.
Is that part of the change?
Of course. And sometimes the look that comes into her face.
Don't, man, for God's sakes, I can't bear it.
We must face the facts for her sake.
How could it have got to her with the wolfsbane and the cross around her neck? Suggestion conveyed from the monster?
Yes, he must have impaled the maid to take away the wolfsbane and cross and open the window. I should have foreseen that.
Don't blame yourself. The devil is more cunning than we are. Yet Lucy seems better. Until this last attack, she's always been exhausted, but sunset last night, when she woke up after sleeping all day.
There was blood in her cheeks again.
Yes, thank God.
My poor friend, where does the blood come from?
What do you suggest now? What fresh horror?
It's not 5:30 in the morning, a strange hour for men who aren't crazy to be up and about.
We may yet get help from this thing that's still half human. Renfield?
He's after me. He's going to kill me.
Help us, Renfield, and we'll save you.
You poor puny man, you measure your brains against his. You don't know what you're dealing with. You a thick-headed Dutchman and a fool of an alienist, and a young cub of a man and a boy. Why, not all the soldiers and police in London could stop the master from doing as he likes.
But God can stop him.
God permits evil. Why does he permit evil if he is good? Tell me that.
How did you escape through those iron bars?
Madmen have a great strength, Doctor.
Come, Renfield, we know you didn't wrench those bars apart yourself.
No, I didn't. I wanted them there. I hoped they'd keep him out. He did it. Then he called to me and I had to come. The master is angry. He promised me eternal life and live things. Live things. Big ones, not flies and spiders, and blood to drink. Always blood. I must obey him, but I don't want to be like him. I am bad, I know, and bad too. I've taken lives, but they were only little lives. I'm not like him. I wouldn't like a human life.
Oh, John,
And why did I seek to betray him? For you. I said I'd serve the devil, but I didn't serve him honestly. I don't like women with no blood in them. And yet I warned you and made him angry. And now, perhaps he will kill me, and I won't get any more live things to eat. There'll be no more blood.
Lucy, darling, you mustn't mind that poor crazed creature.
I don't. He amuses me.
Oh, Lucy, how can you? The poor devil. Thank God. It will soon be dawn now.
Dawn, the ebb tide of life. I hate the dawn. How can people like daylight? At night, I'm really alive. The night was made to enjoy life and love. Come to me, John, my own John.
Lucy, I am so happy that you're better and strong again.
I've never been so well, so full of vitality. I was only a poor, washed-out, pale creature. I don't know what made you love me, John. There was no reason why you should, but there is now.
I worship you.
Then tell me something, John. If you love me, you'll tell me. No, don't turn away from me again.
You made me promise that I wouldn't tell you anything.
But I release you from your promise. There now, what were you and father and the funny professor doing all day?
I can't tell you, I promise.
You say you love me, but you don't trust me.
I would trust you with my life, my soul.
Then prove it. What were you doing over there in Carfax with the hammer and the horrible iron stake?
He shakes his head. She registers anger. He puts his head in his hands as though crying.
You don't think I'm asking you because I'm just trying to find out whether you really love me. So you try to hide your schemes and your plots? Afraid I'll give them away, are you, you fools? Whatever he wants to know, he finds out for himself. He knows what you do. He knows what you think. He knows everything.
Lucy.
My dear, I'm sorry. Let me kiss it away, the tears.
No, you mustn't kiss me. You made me promise not to let you kiss me.
You don't know why I said that, John, darling. It was because I love you so much. I was always afraid of what might happen. You've always thought me cold, but I've blood in my veins. Hot blood, my John. And I knew if I were to kiss you, but I'm not afraid now. Come, you make me say it.
Lucy, I don't understand you.
I love you. I want you. Come to me, my darling. I want you.
He goes to her, his resistance overcome, carried away by her ardor.
Lucy, Lucy.
He seizes her in his arms. Slowly, she takes his head and bends it back. Slowly, triumphantly, she bends her head down, drawing back her upper lips. Dogs howl outside. Her mouth hovers over his. She bends his head further back quickly. Her mouth seeks his throat. Doors center open. Van Helsing rushes in, holding a crucifix in his right hand.
Harker, Harker, save yourself!
Harker rises and crosses to center with outstretched arm. He holds the crucifix between them. Her face becomes convulsed with loathing and rage. She snarls like an animal, retreats, fainting into the divan. Van Helsing follows, crossing to right end of couch, holds crucifix to her, strokes her forehead with left hand.
I warned you, my poor friend.
He kneels beside Lucy, begins to chafe her temples. She revives slowly, looks about her, sees the cross, and stretches out her arm out to it. Van Helsing picks up the cross. She seizes it and kisses it passionately.
Ah, thank God, thank God.
Don't come near me, John. I am unclean.
My darling, in my eyes, you are purity itself.
You love her, and in love there is truth. She is pure, and the evil thing that has entered her shall be rooted out.
You said you could save Mina's soul.
Mina's soul is in heaven.
Tell me now.
It is your right to know now. I entered her tomb. I pried open the coffin. I found her there sleeping, but not dead, not truly dead. There was blood in her cheeks, a drop of blood like a red ruby in the corner of her mouth. With a stake and a hammer, I struck to the heart. One scream, a convulsion, and then the look of peace that came to her face with God's help. I had made her truly dead.
If I die, swear to me that you will do this to my body.
It shall be done.
I swear it.
And I.
My lover, my father, my dear friend, you have all sworn to save my soul, and now I am done with life. I cannot live on to become what you know.
No, no, Miss Lucy, by all that you hold sacred, you must not even think of suicide. That would put you in his power forever.
I cannot face this horror that I am becoming.
We will find this thing that has fouled your life, destroy him, and send his soul to burning hell, and it shall be by my hand.
You must destroy him if you can, but with pity in your hearts, not rage and vengeance. That poor soul who has done so much evil needs our prayers more than any other.
No, you cannot ask me to forgive.
Perhaps I too will need your prayers and your pity.
My dear Miss Lucy, now while you are yourself, help me.
How can I help you? Don't tell me. No, you mustn't tell me anything.
Each time the white face, the red eyes came, you were pale and exhausted afterwards. But this last time
he came, he said I was his bride. He would seal me to him for the centuries to come.
And then?
And then? No, I can't tell you, I can't.
But you must.
You must, Lucy.
He scratched open one of his veins. He pressed my mouth down to it. He called it a mystic sacrament. He made me drink. I can't go on.
I warned you, my poor friend. I broke in when I heard the dogs howling.
Dogs. Then the werewolf is about.
He is pursuing Renfield.
God, we must do something.
And at once. I shall leave Renfield here as I did Miss Lucy. If the thing appears, we three will bar the two doors on the windows.
Against that?
Even against that, for we shall each carry the sacred element.
And then?
And then I do not know. It will be terrible, for we do not know his full powers. But this I know. It is 8 minutes to sunrise. The power of all evil things ceases with the coming of day. His one last earth box is his only refuge. If we can keep him here until daybreak, he must collapse. And then the stake and the hammer are ready.
Dogs howl. Parker crosses to the window.
He is here. Come quickly.
Van Helsing runs to the window, seizes Renfield.
No, no,
But you must, man, and this may save your soul as well as your life.
no, not alone. Don't leave me alone.
Van Helsing shoves him forward. Renfield falls. Van Helsing hurries out, closing the door center, putting the lights out. Renfield slowly rises, looks about him. Renfield howls in terror, crouches in firelight as far away as possible from the doors and the window, retreats to the footlights. Dracula appears in a pale blue light, in evening clothes, dress and cloak as before. Red light from fireplace covers Dracula. As Dracula moves, Renfield's back is to audience.
Do it. It's nothing. I'm your slave. Dog. Master, don't kill me. For the love of God, let me live. Punish me. Torture me. I deserve it, but let me live. I can't face God with all these lives on my conscience, all that blood on my hands.
Did I not promise you that you should come to me at your death and enjoy centuries of life and power over the bodies and souls of others?
Yes, Master. I want lives, I want blood, but I don't want human life.
You betrayed me. You sought to warn my destined bride against.
Mercy, 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 don't kill me.
Dracula raises right arm very slowly toward Renfield, who screams, this time in physical pain. Renfield, like a bird before a snake, drags himself to Dracula, who stands motionless. As Renfield reaches Dracula's feet, Dracula with swift motion stoops, seizes him by the throat, and lifts him up, his grip stifling Renfield's screams. Door centers thrown open. Van Helsing switches the lights on. Dracula drops Renfield, who falls into a corner below the couch and remains there during the following scene. Dracula starts toward Van Helsing, who takes case containing the host out of the inside breast pocket and holds it out toward Dracula in his clenched right fist. Dracula recoils, turns quickly to the window. Harker appears through the window and holds the crucifix towards Dracula in a clenched fist. Dracula recoils and turns downright. Seward enters the window, holding the crucifix when Harker does. The three men stand during the following scene with right arms pointing toward Dracula. He turns and walks to the fireplace, turns and faces them.
My friends, I regret I was not present to receive your calls at my house.
4 minutes until sunrise.
Your watch is correct, Professor.
Your life and death has reached its end.
By God's mercy.
Dracula, its end. Oh, not yet, Professor. Oh, that's what. I have still more than 3 minutes to add to my 500 years.
3 minutes from now, you will be in hell, where 1,000 years of agony will not bring you 1 second nearer the end of your punishment.
Silence, Harker. Miss Lucy forbade this. She asked for prayer and for pity. Make your peace with God, man that was. We are not your judges. We know not how this curse may have come upon you.
You fools! You think with your wafers, your wolf's bane, you can destroy me! Me, the king of my kind! You shall see. 5 of my earth boxes you have polluted. Have you found the 6th?
You cannot reach your 6th refuge now. Take your true form as werewolf if you will. Your fangs may rend us, but we have each sworn to keep you here for 2 minutes and a half, when you must collapse, and we can make an end.
You keep me! Fools, listen, and let my words ring in your ears all your lives and torture you on your deathbeds. I go, I go to sleep in my box for 100 years. You have accomplished not much against me, Van Helsing. But in a century I shall wake, and I shall call my bride from her tomb, my Lucy, my queen. I have other brides of old times who await me in her vaults in Transylvania, but I shall set her above them all.
Should you escape, we know how to save Lucy's soul, if not her life.
Ah, the stake! Yes, but only if she dies by day. I shall see that she dies by night. She shall come to an earth box of mine at her death and await her master. To do to her what you did to my Mina, Van Helsing, you must find her body, and that you will not.
Then she shall die by day.
You will kill her? You lack the courage, you poor rat of flesh and blood.
Silence. John, he is doomed. This is his revenge. He hopes to trouble us afterwards.
30 seconds.
I thank you now for reminding me of the time.
Harker, open the curtains.
Harker opens the curtains. Red light of approaching dawn outside.
That is the east. The sun will rise beyond the meadow there.
Dracula pulls cape over his head.
The clouds are coloring.
God's daybreak.
A pleasant task you have set yourself, Mr. Harker.
10 seconds. Be ready when he collapses.
The sun! The stake, Professor, the stake! Hold him, Doctor!
I've got him.
Dracula, with a loud burst of mocking laughing, goes down the trap on the word sun, leaving the two men holding the empty cape. Parker backs down, drops the empty cape in front of the desk. Then a flash goes off in front of the fireplace. Complete blackout. Lights come on. The three men look around them.
The chimney has a bat! You heard what he said?
God will not permit it. What's to be done now, Van Helsing?
We will trick Renfield into showing us. Dare we leave Renfield on Earth to become his slave when he dies?
But he's human. Can't do murder.
I'll do it if you won't, Doctor.
Go to your office and get some painless drug.
Kill me, Master. Save me. I am coming to you.
He has shown us the way. Where does this passage go?
I never knew there was a passage.
Only the devil has the combination. We'll break through somehow. Harker, quick, the hammer.
Blackout. Curtain.
Hammer time.
Act 3, Scene 2. Scene played in the black cyclorama. Absolute darkness. Coffin right center and back of gauze drop. Flash of electric torch seen coming slowly downstairs.
For God's sake, be careful, Seward.
These stairs go down forever.
May God protect us.
Is Harker there?
He's gone for a lantern.
I've got to the bottom.
Be careful, I'm right behind you.
What can this place be?
It seems an old vault. What is that? Oh, where are you, man?
Sorry, I'm all right. A big rat ran across my foot.
Where are you? What is this place?
We can't see.
This place smells horribly of bats.
It has an animal smell like the lair of a wolf.
Well, that's what it is.
There's absolutely nothing here.
There's another passage.
I thought so. That must lead to Carfax. The 6th Earth box is hidden somewhere here.
And the monster is in it.
You can't be sure.
As he speaks, light from his torch falls on Renfield, stretched on the floor. Renfield screams as the light falls on him, scurries off into the darkness.
Renfield.
Where is he?
Over there somewhere. Even if Renfield knew about this place, that doesn't prove the vampire's here.
It is the vampire's life or yours. Look at him, man. Look at him. He knows.
I know nothing. Let me go. Let me go, I say.
He was stretched here, but he wouldn't let me drag him back. Ah, here it is. Quick, the stake.
Harker and Van Helsing with the stake pry up a stone slab and open the coffin. The three men gaze in horror and triumph at the coffin.
What a horrible undead thing he is lying there.
Let me drive it in deep.
Van Helsing, kneeling, facing the audience, takes the stake from Harker, places it carefully in a hole. Renfield at right end of coffin.
That's over the heart, Doctor.
Yes.
Van Helsing hands hammer to Harker. Harker raises the hammer high overhead, strikes with full force. A low groan, backstage center, silence. The stake remains fixed in Dracula's body, the top of the stake visible to the audience.
See his face now, the look of peace.
He is crumbling away.
Thank God, we're free.
Father? Father? John?
Lucy.
Van Helsing takes a handful of dust, scatters it over the body.
Dust to dust, ashes to ashes.
Curtain. When the curtain hits the floor, the gauze goes up. The entire cast comes down stage, and the black drop comes down in one for curtain speech. Curtain rises.
Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Just a word before you go. We hope that the memories of Dracula and Renfield won't give you bad dreams. So just a word of reassurance. When you get home tonight and the lights have been turned out and you are afraid to look behind the curtains and you dread to see a face appear at the window, why, just pull yourself together and remind yourself that after all, there are such things.
Curtain falls. End of play.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bravo.
I remember that it was so cool, Jim, that you had Edwin his hand pop through the coffin and grab Seward by the throat, or no, Harker by the throat.
Yeah.
Rather than just have the stake go there. Yeah.
Remember
Yeah, and you had a
none
blood
of that.
You had a blood pack too, didn't you, Edwin? You don't remember?
Don't think so.
I remember sitting out in the audience, and when Dracula disappeared, when you guys held the cape with the wire mesh in it, and then the cape went away and he was just gone. The people were just gasping. It was a great effect. That was big fun.
There was one effect where you just had a fishing line attached to the leg of a chair, and Edwin would just go like this, and the chair would just move on its own.
Yeah.
And people freaked out over that. That was the most effective. It was so simple, but it was so effective.
Yeah.
My favorite was lifting Renfield up by his throat.
Oh yeah.
It was the teeter-totter, right?
The teeter-totter behind the set.
I gave Edwin a hard time on that because I'd stand on one foot and wiggle as violently as I could. He was damn it.
My favorite moment was the very beginning of the show with Renfield hopping around before the show even started, and then the whole thing with the cat, and we had the real cat, and then the fake cat with you twisting the neck and pouring the blood into the chalice, and just listening to the audience go practically vomiting out loud. That was amazing.
Well, this is so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Oh, I did. Big fun. Thank you, Mark.
You want to do it again next year?
Yeah, why not?
Save your scripts. I had a raffle to give away this poster back here, and Edwin, you won.
I did do a screen capture earlier at the thing. I don't know what it looks like, but it's in the chat if anybody wants to grab it.
Great.
I want you to know, Mark, you remind me of the Burgermeister.
Ja, Bolt.
The toymaker to the king.
Yeah. I would like to offer, if any of you guys want Santa to make a Zoom call for you this Christmas time, feel free to let me know. It's my gift to all of you.
Wait,
I
Pirate
want the
Santa?
Burgermeister to call my nephews and tell them no more toys.
So it's for you.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
it was-
so did you guys, Bill and Edwin, did you use a external app to get your backgrounds, or do they offer them on Zoom?
It's available on Zoom.
Is it?
I pulled an image off the net, but yeah, it just they put it on
That's
it.
the gargoyle behind me, the one from the set.
Oh, wow,
That's
cool.
cool. Yeah.
That castle looks like a lot like the one we're gonna be shooting at in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
Castle Bran, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Where are
Yeah,
you
we're
going to
going
be,
Castle
Jim?
Raby. Well, we're at 2 castles. We're doing an exterior castle up in, it's called Raby Castle, which is up close to Scotland. And then we go down to mid-England and we shoot the interior of a place called Haddon Hall, which is not really a castle, but it looks like one. But it's an 11th century castle that, I mean, it's amazing. It's just
Haddon Hall's been in a bunch of stuff. I rewatched the 1981 Brideshead Revisited, and Haddon Hall is a location for that.
Yeah, Princess Bride. They also shot Princess Bride there. So yeah, it's a magical place. It really is.
That's so cool that you're in London, and we were talking about London throughout the whole play.
Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah, and gonna be in a castle. So yeah.
What kind of stuff are you having to put in there or change, or are you dressing it up in some way?
We are. I mean, yeah, we brought all new furniture in because the stuff that's there's like a table there that is 11th century. It's the oldest piece of furniture in England in Haddon Hall. So we were not able to touch that. So we had to bring our own
You might
stuff.
not want C stands thrown up on top of it.
No, we don't want grips around that. We don't. Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with Kevin, Jim?
Yeah, Kevin and I just finished a show in Savannah called Panhandle. It's
Oh,
gonna be
well,
on
Make sure
Roku.
we all said hello.
I will.
I
Yeah.
should have sent him an invitation as well.
Yeah, we'll get him next time.
Okay.
He
So
can be in the background with the bats.
if anyone does not want me to post, I'm going to try to put this on YouTube and then put a link. If anyone would prefer not to, you can do it anonymously. Just send me a message and let me know.
Did you have mommy? Go get her. Go see mommy. Trying to get him out of the room.
Y'all are cute. Good night. I'm gonna go eat supper.
Thanks,
Yeah, I
guys.
gotta go to work in the
I'll
morning.
see you again.
Everybody.
I'm actually going to go
Yeah.
carve another pumpkin. So we'll see you guys.
Okay.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
Happy
Halloween, everybody.
Halloween.
Happy
This was great.
Halloween.
Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. That was fun.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for stepping in, Tim.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody. It was a pleasure. Bye.
Absolutely.
And the diehards.
Hey, it's just you and me.
Yep.
You stay on. What'd you
Yeah.
think?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was wordy scripts. Wordy.
It's very wordy. I was like, good Lord. I wonder if when we did it initially, if Jim cut it
I don't
down.
remember him cutting out because I mean, the whole opening scene is an exposition of,
Oh God, all that.
everything
Yeah,
out.
it's
Ooh,
like here's what happened in the background. It's like, okay,
no.
lots of exposition. I bet Jim cut it. I bet I don't remember doing all that dialogue.
I seem to remember a lot of that. Because there's no markings
Oh,
in your
great
script.
job, by the way. Really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.
You did really good. You were actually quite good. I really like the
accent.
Everyone's got a maturity about it. Tim did really well.
Yeah, Tim was great. Yeah, everybody was really. Debbie Jean was great.
No.
Stepping in like that, hadn't acted in 30 years. Yeah.
No.
So, hey, if you you had talked about wanting to do film one of your scripts, there you go. There's your cast right there. It can be done.
Yeah.
Thanks for encouraging me to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, turned
You
out
gotta
good.
think about that. Think about doing something else. It could be something we could do on a monthly basis. Doing
Sure.
the post Catawba reading series or something.
Here, let me
Have to be
stop.
discussed.
Let me stop the recording here.
Yeah.
How do I just